Good morning, evening, afternoon. Today we're playing Echoes, Lucid9 Fangame. Previously, after calming Yahiko down after his stuff, we got down to the nitty-gritty and found out that they redacted everything and all this information is coming into play, and Rui's brain got messed up, but Eris helped her out, and now we're reading the unredacted file of what happened at the school, and that's where we left off. So let's continue. Limney's Gate Department of Corporate Intelligence and Security Criminal Case Adjudication Report, whatever. 2038 TKH 124173. Perpetrator Yama Ishimoto. ICID number 5-32-4895-634. Current Isamu CCS designation Class 3, undefined at time of arrest. Date of arrest, July 23rd, 2038. Released for arrest. Previous history of legally questionable activities, suspicious behavior at a crime scene, evidence of mental deterioration not caused by a foreign substance. Criminal charges filed after arrest. 1 count of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of tampering with evidence, 1 count of performing an illegal investigation, 1 count of inflicting grievous bodily harm, 3 counts of aiding and abetting unlawful confinement, 3 counts of aiding and abetting torture, 2 counts of homicide, and 1 count of apparent homicide. Criminal conviction on record. All charges listed above, all overturned by official pardon and declaration of innocence issued by the Isamu State Assembly in April 2041. Outstanding, none. Outstanding criminal sentences on record prior to arrest, none. Served crime sentences on record prior to arrest, none. Criminal sentence given upon initial case education, 65 years prison sentence without parole. Revised sentence given upon 3-year prison sentence with guarantee parole. Current outstanding sentence on record, none. Current service sentence on record, 3-year prison sentence with guaranteed parole. All demerits waived, overturned by official pardon and declaration of innocence issued by the Isamu State Assembly, April 2041. Investigation commencement date, local, January 11th, 2039. Investigation conclusion date, January 30th, 2039. Report complete, January 13th, 2039. Validated by Isamu Minister of Justice, December 3rd, 2038. Report submitted to DCIS Archives, December 3rd, 2039. 2039, not 2038. It was like, what? They did it in the future? Note, this case was originally investigated by the Isamu Police Department Prior to the okay, I can't do that. Establishment of the Isamu meritocracy, the Department of Corporate Intelligence, and I can't read the rest of that without squinting. ... I would advise pretending that these reports are credible. It is less probable that DCIS will act with open animosity if they believe their deception was successful. Wow. I was expecting something to be skeptical, but I don't even think our own records are this accurate. I'm glad you know the truth when you see it. Oh! Yahiko said that. I'm sorry, Yahiko. I'm pretty sure you're lying to me, but in case you aren't, I'm going to be upfront with you. Yahiko leans forward and clasps his hands together, his voice taking on a quieter, more foreboding tone. This truth has been constructed for your benefit. For it to work, his hands aren't clasped together in his sprite, so I have to do it here. I need you to understand that whatever you've seen, whatever you know, it's no longer good enough. What's on that page may not be your truth or Yama's truth, but it is the written truth. And we were careful to write the truth that was least disputed. If you're asked to speak the truth, this is the truth you'll speak. Or you can expect to be corrected without hesitation. A reasonable assertion. I don't know why assertion was so difficult for me. Were you hoping I'd interpret it as a threat? I was hoping you'd already know, just like I already know how difficult things have been for you. I'd understand completely if you want to tell the public about them, but that's simply not an option. Lemmy Skate's influence goes way deeper than me, you, or the public. DCIS is standing behind this idea, and I won't risk my career by giving them a substandard product. I don't like this at all. I don't want to do this route. I don't like working for Lemmy Skate. Again, ILF is still terrible. Lemmy Skate is worse. If I did something like that, they retract my permission to help you. And then you'd be interviewed by someone more focused on making the old government look bad than making you two look like its innocent victims. Wait. You're going to be interviewing us? Who else would be interviewing? He is the guy from the show, so of course he's interviewing us. That's the plan. Yahiko whips out his phone. Have either of you ever heard of a little talk show called Today in the Morning? Fairly big deal. Airs 3 times a week at 11:30 a.m. on every channel in Isamu, including Triple N's official streaming pages on Stitch and Patter Live. He rotates the device as a stylish 180 and points a finger down at its screen, proudly displaying the horror stretched across its glorious 19:9. The board let me host it. Pretty neat, right? Fantastic. A daytime talk show on every channel in Isamu, and it's hosted by none other than the great Yahiko Ikari. Guess it explains why so many people in the city have an IQ below room temperature. Not that was ever far-fetched to predict that old Butterbrain would become a staple of the small screen. I sincerely doubt that the son of the Ikaris would grow up to be camera shy, not after his stint as an underwear model. Even I can't deny that he's got the face for it, although my personal preference would be for him to hide that face under a paper bag. Even if his teeth are whiter than the population of Croatia. It's pretty white. He still looks like some rich, smug snake oil merchant. Oh, and by the way, when I say every channel, I do mean every channel. Triple N, the Way Forward Corporation, Television Network, even the 14. Not the 14. The 14? Well, I don't know what the 14 is. Shall we put it? Cultured channels that are blocked outside of District 3. Oh, the 14, not the number. Cultured channels? I don't know what that means either. Are they like porn? Is that what it is? Because that's what it kind of sounds like. There we go. The results are in from the Merit Council, and Limney Skate, Way Forward, and KCOM are all in agreement. The verdict that all of Isamu needs to hear your story. Our story. Not our story. Our story. The one that is not true. I like taking down the man better. Shocking news. Have you heard, Yama? The upper house agreed on something? Really, no. I figured they'd be too busy filibustering and calling each other addle-padded bunglers again. That only happened one time, though. Still counts, Moon Boy. And Hiko sighs. Look, I do agree with you two. The Merit Council is far from the pinnacle of corporate decision making I'd like it to be. It's no secret that their jobs to approve any law that serves corporate interests and veto the rest. I'd even go so far as to say that the way they discuss these laws borders on a bunch of people with suits, seeing who can scream the loudest. Listen to it for long enough, and all you'll be able to hear is spiteful, needlessly partisan noise contest. Proposals made by lemniscate counselors, for example, will routinely get challenged by their counterparts from Way Forward and KCOM simply out of the desire to prevent their rival from accomplishing something. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the rest of us don't like proposals designed solely to further lemniscate's interest? Many times. The party lines are thick. To even attempt to cross them is a breach of custom. But take a look at Isamu. Compare this city to what's going on in the rest of the world, the rest of Japan even. There's no corporate Cold War or confused disorder in the streets. Instead, tensions are regularly diffused so the status quo can be maintained. The existence of the Trifect Fund alone proves that the corporations of our city can work together under one government, and the progress we've made over the past 3 years alone proves that we've been doing just that. We also have the highest suicide rate in the world, the lowest birth rate, no social programs whatsoever, and school tuition so expensive that only 2% of students can afford to attend elementary school without scholarship. I'm not saying the system doesn't have its okay, that is a big problem. They can't afford elementary school. Elementary school. School for babies. Okay. School for slightly not babies. That's ridiculous. It might only work for some of us, but that's a whole lot better than it working for none of us. Sure. At some point, you just have to accept that. Well, you're part of the sum. That not everyone has a purpose. I suppose he's kind of part of the sum because he did get blacklisted if it wasn't for his wife saving his ass. So he's kind of a kept man now. Like, he has no real power. It's an illusion of power. In case you don't already know, I'm going to let you two in on something. Proposal, bureaucracy, partisan arm twisting, it's all for show, really. The leader of our corporations discuss everything beforehand. Shareholders are represented by boards, priorities are established in boardrooms, and those priorities shape the agendas of our top executives who work out a way to agree on a position of what needs to be done. Our inclusion in government might make people think our authority is legitimate, but the reality is that corporate authority has always been legitimate. Whether we buy out the decision makers or install our own, nothing changes. And that's why whenever someone at the top of the pyramid, like Kosuke Saito or Masaru Nori or even Satomi Kazuhaya, announce a philanthropic initiative or an intention to solve a real issue, praise and support for them are universal in action on the matter is quick. An action on the matter is quick. Kosuke, I'm still plotting your death. I will succeed. Even if it's in my own head, because this game won't be finished for a very long time. But I will get it. So, while the government just ends up looking like the clown show that it is, the private sector is seen as a pillar of statehood comparison? Oh, in comparison. I didn't see in comparison. And that makes the people of this city trust us even more. Why are you so happy about it? This doesn't really have anything to do with you. You are a pawn for your wife. Our leaders, the ultimate authorities in the trifect, are working together as we speak. And because they work together, they're the true rulers of Isamu. Try to remember that. That's probably his speech and not what he thinks. I'd like you to hold on to those data boards I gave you. Review the contents in detail, and we'll meet again in a few days to reconvene and rehearse. I look forward to making the two of you a national sensation. Listen, I was also national sensation in the other one. I was just hated. You okay? A few minutes after takeoff in District 8, Yama looks up at me from across the shuttle, concern evident in his expression. Just a little concerned. You want to talk about it? I sigh. I really don't. But then again, I probably should. This virus is killing people. Decent, stupid people who won't know they're dying until it's too late. I still haven't done the thing. I don't even know if I can do it. I looked and looked and I did not see a way. Did I piss too many people off? Did I need to make Lemony skate like me to get the blood checked? I just want to make... I liked Masa. He was dumb, but I liked Masa mostly. So I wanted to help the random dude from the first mission. Spreading lies and propaganda on Lemony Skate's behalf is preferable to violence, but it still feels like we aren't doing enough. Everyone's either needlessly exposed or paranoid and insulated, all while we live on borrowed time and hope some great discovery will be made soon. I don't know. I guess I'm just sick of cutting shady deals with no immediate results. Sorry. I went off on a bit of a long one there. We've had longer tangents, usually in your mind, but you've had longer ones. I'm not mad at you, just mad overall, in the 19th century sense. No worries. I get where you're coming from. It's hard when things are hitting the fan and You're still expected to just wait for improvement and opportunities to show up. Luckily, most people in the city can get by with barely a couple of brain cells to rub together. So if that stays the case, it shouldn't be too hard to cheer them up. You'll get a more hands-on assignment soon, but in the meantime, I suppose we'll just have to put on a nice, distracting show for them, which will involve artificially inflating people's hopes until they die, pretty much. But while we're on the subject of artificial increases, I'd like to show you something. Yama pulls... Why does he always have to say it like that? Yama pulls out what appears to be a smartphone. And he taps the side of his head with 2 fingers. His eyes briefly light up with a soft, etched glow of 2 rolling green digital overlays. Oh, is this a texting thing? A second later, the light fades and the phone in his hand and his other hand powers on. You have iris contacts? Yama nods. Your cell commander convinced me to have them installed. Apparently, the SSD's firmware for the integrated reality information system comes with a location adaptive firewall and a data transfer proxy. If you link a corporate device to it, you'll be able to use it with no restrictions. Or, well, close to no restrictions. You still have to go through the employee intranet. Still managed to find this though. Yama turns his phone around, showing me the screen. On it I can see 3 lines on a paragraph, charting the relative value of the Lemniscate, WayForward, and Kazahaya combined shares on the Isamu Stock Exchange. Huh. A share in WayForward is up by 20% this week. Neat. I'd be more excited if I was a shareholder, and also a bit worried. This looks like the calm before the storm, or maybe just the pride before the fall. I agree. The growth seems to be due to increased serum sales, and if that's true, it implies that we either doing well or that faith in the rest of the corporation is high. Could be a decent reassurance if you're worried about how we're doing. Lemniscate's also up 12% because of all the people using CloudCom to work from home. Ironically, their board thought a video chat service was a bad investment and was in the process of shutting down their servers, but then people started getting sick. A share in KCOM, on the other hand, dropped about 2%, apparently losing munitions factory to cyber terrorist defectors and being forced to operate under DCIS supervision hasn't really been a good for profits. Really. No, I think I'm going to make this episode longer. We're just going to go to the end at this point because I feel like if I end it now, there's not going to be much in the next episode. So it's going to be a long one, so Buckle up with my monotone Yama voice. It is so exciting. It would have been worse, but it looks like the shoot anyone in the anyone trying to escape District 6 contract has given them a bit of windfall. That's a relief. I was losing sleep over the thought of Black Star making slightly less money. Yama only chuckles in response. Seriously though, why are we selling immune serum abroad when there isn't even enough for everyone in Isamu? Wouldn't the corporation make less money? The higher-ups probably have some supply contracts with the mainland that they can't back out of. That assessment is not entirely untrue, Operative. Available data indicates that 3/4 of the immune serum listed on this graph is being shipped abroad. Its low visibility metadata, however, indicates that this graph only accounts for immune serum sold at MSRP to NGOs and public institutions. A vastly higher volume of immune serum is sold directly to patients worldwide at an elevated price, many of whom reside in Isamu. Data on these sales, however, is not publicly available. Overall, SSD involvement in its containment suggests a motive of evading accusations of greed or portraying the wider corporation as being as benevolent entity with global interest in mind. Yama scoffs. Agreed. Yama scoffs and we say agreed. Agreed. Okay. There's no excuse for profiteering at the expense of the sick and vulnerable. And the fact that they're trying to hide it makes it even worse. I concur, Operative. From the lack of publicly available data, it would seem that the high-ranking executives do as well. Operatives, I just received a message from Yahiko Ikari. From what I gathered, you and Ishimoto did excellent work out there. Your reputation with Lemniscape Corporation has risen to 25. Huzzah! Okay, don't like them. I still don't like them. I like Yosuke. Is Yosuke. Is it I always get confused if it's Kosuke or Yosuke. I know he's like my enemy and I wish the worst upon him. Like he is in the book of people I need to smote with smotey powers. Kosuke. So like I don't like Kosuke, but I like Lemniscape less than Kosuke. They're just so bad in so many ways. As thanks for your flexibility and understanding, he stated he started work on 3N support piece for Way Forward and put in good word on our behalf to the director of Lemniscape Security. If all goes well, she'll begin sending us a larger share of her department's resources within the hour. I can't say what her motives are for doing so, but it's certainly given us a better chance at preventing a full-blown pandemic. Regardless of that, you two did a spot-on job. That sounds so British. Consider yourselves off duty for the rest of the day. Thank you, ma'am. It was good seeing Yahiko again. Where's Yama? Where'd he be? Okay. Disembodied voice of Yama. It could have been better, if you asked me. It could have been better if you asked me. There he be. I don't know who he was talking to when we came in, but he looked genuinely terrified by whatever it was they were saying. Towards the end of the conversation, it even sounded like they were forcing him to say things he didn't mean. I got the same impression. Yep, they're making him say things. He has no power. He is stuck, is what he is. Like, he can't do anything. He's a little prisoner, I guess. If he's being blackmailed or extorted, it might be worth looking into. I'll anonymize your neural node footage and pass it up the chain of command, operative. If the chairman thinks it's safe and not a waste of division resources, he'll have an intel cell assigned to investigate the situation. I doubt much will come of it, though. Even our best observers won't be able to do much if DCIS is involved. And that's assuming the off chance that your lead gets flagged as legitimate. In my experience, every time DCIS or Limniscape ever dropped a breadcrumb for us, it's either been an intentional act of misdirection, bait for a trap, or a message from a very specific group of people. How you want to interpret messages like those is up to you, but you'll save me a lot of paperwork if you keep it to yourself, stick to your duties, and let the state-sanctioned parties what needs to be done. Do what needs to be done. You two are dismissed. And once again, good work out there. Welcome back, operative. At the commander's request, I have updated your iris visor with the firmware necessary to establish encrypted wireless data link with your company-issued smartphone. If you open operations manual with you will now be able to select a tab labeled Contacts. Okay, yeah, so we know this stuff already. So, yeah, it's going to be... I don't think he says anything new. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay, and now you get to listen to me babble for a little bit. Okay, so I had to leave and come back. I did go through everything I possibly could, and I am at the end of the game. And this game will be kind of unfinished for a while. Fallen Snow Studios is coming out with a Kickstarter for the sequel to Lucid9. So Spartan Cupcake has decided to put this game kind of like on the back burner while that's going on. So I'll just talk about what I did get to see and what I did get to finish. And I have to say, I was really impressed by it. The entire game itself, like the little codex, the design of everything, the sprites. It's a little weird to me that she's only 19, is already a psychologist, but that's fine. It's the future, it's whatever. And Like in the story itself, when you have a fan game, a lot of times it's just the characters doing something in some sort of world. But this one was like the entirety of the game was a fan game. So it's like the whole world it was a spin-off of, not just the characters, which I really enjoyed. And it started in a way that was unexpected. I kind of thought Rui died and like some mad scientists brought her back to life. I mean, they kind of did that with Yama, but that's different. Because I liked what they did with him too, putting him under some sort of weird brain thing. And in the story, anytime I was like, well, how does that work? Or what is this? And the game's like, I'll explain that to you. And I really liked that. It was very smart. It made me feel very dumb at times, which I rather enjoyed. But what I really loved, other than just the look of it, like with the codex and stuff like that, I really loved the weight of the choices. Like, those choices had serious consequences. The way you played and the politics involved had serious consequences in the storyline. And no, I didn't show every single route, but I want you guys to try and play it and see what happens when you choose differently, other than, of course, the last bit. But yeah, it was fantastic. There's nothing wrong with the occasional nonsense choice, but I love it when your choices affect what you can do in the game entirely. And it's not just one choice that does this, it's all of them. And I liked how you could see where you stood with each character, which is very nice because sometimes you have to guess. And I like that it just showed you. I also enjoyed the way you could battle. I didn't like how unbalanced it was. Like, it took a really long time for me to knock down their armor to attack them, but it took them like 2 seconds to knock down mine to kill me. But I loved the different ways you could battle, kind of for different ways. Like, different people like to battle in different ways. So I liked the fact that you had more leeway and options with that. And the fact that I could change my clothes, which is a weird like, but I don't know why. I just like when games let me do that. And it's weird, and I think it's because it's unnecessary, but I can do it just because I can. And no, I didn't get to kill Kosuke, but that's okay. I can just dream of it and put him in my smoke book and smote him. But for being a bony kind of fan game, a lot of things were really fleshed out. Like, the characters, you understood most of them. Emmy didn't have a backstory, but that's okay. Like, the warden doesn't have a backstory, but you don't need one because she's insane. That's all you need to know about her. And I really wanted to know about the glowy thing, but I feel like further on, you'd find out. And like, yeah, there were some typos and bugs. There was a time when I broke the game because the timer ran out. I didn't show it. But the timer ran out and the game froze and I couldn't do anything. And it happened a couple of times. It wasn't just one time. So that was sad. And the typos and the screens were like you can't see anything. But that's okay. Those are easy fixes. And they're also very tolerable. It's not like you play and you're like, oh, I can't play it anymore. Because the game itself and the story itself is so great. You even get attached to Tone. Tone is not even a main character. You just like him because it's Tone. At least I did. And the fact that you have to weigh, are you going to choose to your morals or like do these things just to save the world or the pandemic or whatever, is kind of awesome. So I would definitely recommend this game. It's definitely not completely fleshed out, but there's still a lot of things you can do in it. And there's definitely a lot of work put in it. Like, just look at the screen itself. Like, all the stuff that's happening in the background and the bloopy thing with the text messaging. It's great. It really is. And if you like sci-fi, play it. If you like Lucid9, play it. It's going to be a very long time before the sequel comes out. Very long time. So long. It's been years since the first one. So if you get the Jones, play this. And if you're like, I don't like fighting systems, well, there's an easy mode. And then you don't have to deal with the fighting as much. You can't skip it, no, but the battles are going to be super easy. And if you're a masochist, you can play it in super hard mode, which I did not do, but you can try it. And I just wanted to say thank you to Spartan Cupcake for kind of bringing me in on this. I've never been able to like be a part of the development process, but it's been really fun. I just have to say, you did a really good job. And if you ever have another game that you need someone to help beta test with you, I will definitely do it for you. I will put it on the channel. I'll do whatever. I've really enjoyed this. And I hope you guys enjoyed this series too. And I hope to see you in the next one.